Laura had never liked big gatherings. Her friend Kate insisted. Sometimes you just have to leave the house and let the world surprise you. Usually the world didn't bother. But that day it did. The meadow was soaked in sunlight. The air smelled of grass, wine, and something childlike, the kind of lightness that rarely visits adults. People were laughing, someone strummed a guitar, someone else argued about pasta. Laura sat in the shade, pretending to scroll through her phone, silently counting down the minutes until it would be polite to leave. That's when Hannah arrived. She carried a picnic basket and a bottle of wine, her dress a shade that existed only in summer movies, something between cream and sunlight. Her hair caught the light like it remembered freedom. She noticed Laura first. "I don't think I've seen you before," she said, setting down the basket beside her. "Or are you just a pro at hiding?" "The second one," Laura replied without looking up. "I'm more of an observer than a participant." "Perfect," Hannah grinned. "Then today, I'm joining Team Avoid Human Contact." Laura looked at her, and the world suddenly slowed down, as if the sun decided to stay a little longer. They talked for hours about movies, books, nonsense. Hannah laughed like her laughter could change the weather. Slowly Laura forgot about her phone, her shyness, and the polite distance she always kept between herself and the world. When the sunlight turned golden, Hannah unpacked bread, cheese, and wine. "To coincidences," she said, raising her glass. "To those who noticed them," Laura replied. Their glasses clinked softly. A small secret shared only between two strangers. When everyone else went swimming, they stayed behind on the blanket, watching the clouds drift lazily across the sky. There were only a few inches between them, but those inches felt like a living thing. "Sometimes," Hannah said, "I feel like I live too fast. Moving, working, meeting people. And then I meet someone who looks at me like time could actually stop." Laura smiled. "Maybe that's me?" "Maybe." Hannah's fingers brushed against hers, a quiet test to see if the moment was real. Laura didn't pull away. And suddenly it was. When they kissed, there wasn't music or thunder or anything cinematic. Just warm wind, soft grass, and the quiet certainty that the world was right, at least for now. They started dating almost without realizing it. No grand declarations, just a simple, "Let's try this." And they did. It wasn't always easy. Laura feared being open. She'd always thought real feelings were too fragile to show. Hannah was the opposite. If she loved, she said it. If she missed someone, she showed up. If she was scared, she laughed. They argued, of course, slammed a few doors, had a few nights apart. But somehow, every morning still began the same way. With coffee, sunlight on the pillows, and that same look, the one that said, "Still you." One afternoon, they returned to that same meadow where it had all begun. Same blanket, same basket, same bottle of wine. But now there were 2 coffee mugs, a camera, and shared jokes only they understood. Hannah took a photo. The two of them, a little overexposed, slightly imperfect, but with eyes that had learned what happiness looked like. "You know," Laura said, "I thought that picnic would be just another awkward afternoon. And now it's the best thing that ever happened to me." Hannah took her hand. "Then maybe we should make it a tradition." And they did. Every year they came back, with new stories, new worries, and the same quiet joy of being together. Life, of course, kept trying to interrupt: jobs, travel, doubts. But they learned to stay. Not because love was perfect, but because it was theirs. Laura kept writing stories about people and feelings. Hannah kept taking photos, cities, faces, fleeting light. They stopped fearing the word forever. Because they'd realized it wasn't about promises. It was about choice. And every day they chose each other. One morning, sunlight spilled through the curtains and Hannah said, "Do you remember that first picnic? Like it was yesterday. Maybe everything was decided that day." Laura smiled, resting her head on her shoulder. "Maybe. But I like to think we decided it ourselves." Hannah kissed her forehead. "Then thank you for choosing me. I'm not planning to stop." When summer came again, they went back to that same meadow. Same laughter, same wine, same quiet feeling that the world had paused for them. The grass was soft, the air was warm, and for a while time forgot to move. Sometimes happiness isn't loud. It just sits beside you on a blanket, laughing softly, drinking wine, looking at you with eyes that say home.